Hi love, so how to make a Christmas scrunchie. So for this tutorial you're going to measure 12 inches length, and for the width I'll be using 3.5. So you need a plain fabric and a patterned fabric, but they have to measure exactly the same length and width. So like I said, I used 12 by 3.5 but for both fabric. So this is my patterned fabric and I have my plain fabric. So all you're going to do is place both right sides together. So at one edge you're going to sew down a straight line. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin that, and then I'm going to sew a straight line just like I'm doing here. So make sure that you're matching the right sides of both fabric together. Okay, so sew that down using 1/4 inch seam allowance, and once that's done I'm just going to go to my machine and get that sewn. And once that's done, then you're going to go ahead and just open it up, and now you have your full length, right? And then you're going to put both sides to face each other, so not like this. I'm going to show you exactly. Just now I'm turning it around, so make sure that the right sides are facing each other just like this. Okay, so once that's done you're gonna have to pin this down and you're gonna sew down. So just pin it down, and yeah. I'm just grabbing my pins and just putting it down. And now we're going to go ahead and sew this down. So, but make sure that you leave about 2 inches from the top and 2 inches at the end. So don't start right from the top. Give some about 2 inches gap. So I know I'm pointing, but I'll go back and show you exactly what I mean. So just watch. So see, I'm stopping, so stop there. You can eyeball it. I'm eyeballing mine, or you can measure with your measuring tape, but just start from 2 inches. Just give some gap. Don't start exactly at the edge of the fabric, okay? And then I'm just gonna stop there about 2 inches. So I'm going to show you again. I'm going to my sewing machine, so I'm not sewing all the way from the top. I'm giving some gap, right? So I'm going to start sewing from there and just sew it down, and when you get to the end do the same, okay? Don't sew all the way to the end. Back stitch, okay? Very important. Always back stitch, always back stitch, so your work doesn't unravel. And then we're going towards the end, and I'm going to back stitch. I'm stopping. Remember, I'm not going all the way to the end. So do a back stitch and we're done with this part, okay? And now guys, once this is done, what we're going to do now is to turn this right side out. So you can use your finger like I'm about to do so. I just use my hands to just turn it around, or you can use a specific tool you can use to turn it right. I can't remember the name of that turner. I think it's called a turner or something, but I don't have a turner right now, so I'm just going to use my hands and just turn it around. So yeah, so once it's turned out, then we're going to go over to the next step. And guys, another way you can turn this is also using a safety pin. if you want to, that's basically what I use most times when I'm trying to turn things. I use a big safety pin. That's why I don't have a turner, so in case you're wondering. But for this, I was just able to use my hands to turn it around. So now you're going to place the right sides together. So the part where the seam shows is the back, so you just place it like I'm doing here. Just make sure that the seam is not what you're putting together, but the seam should be facing up on both sides. So make sure that you have, so now for this, the seam is facing up on this side, and then the seam is probably facing down on the other part, like the pattern fabric. So just make sure that you align it properly and let the front sides rub against each other, and then just the edges that we didn't sew all the way to the end. And then we're going to go ahead and pin it and sew it together. I just hope you guys understand what I mean with this part. So basically, let the seams, don't put the seams together, just let the non-seamed part kiss each other, and then align it and pin it just like you see in this video. And then you're just gonna sew a straight stitch. And yeah, so I'm gonna go to my sewing machine and do that. And again, back stitch. If you don't want your work to unravel, back stitch always, okay? Back stitch when you start, back stitch when you're getting to the end, when you get to the end, okay? So yeah guys, so once this is done, we're now going to trim, just trim your excess threads, trim, you know, make sure your work is good. And then what we're gonna do is just put that inside. It just naturally goes inside, so you just tuck it in. So now this is what it looks like, and it's time for us to put our elastic band in to our fabric. So I already put my safety pin on one end of the elastic band. You can also put another safety pin at the other end, but I'm just going to do mine just using one, okay? And you just thread it in like so, just pushing it. You're just trying to put it in from one end, and you're gonna bring it out from the same end or from the other end. And you just keep doing that, and see the ruffles or scrunchiness is is coming along. So just keep holding that part so it doesn't, you know, go into the fabric and then you have to start all over again. So just be mindful that you have to either attach a safety pin to the other end or just do what I'm doing right now. Now take off the safety pin, and we're going to tie both ends of the elastic band together like so. So tie a knot, so 1 and 2, and then just make sure it's tight. Just tighten it, and we're almost done with our Christmas scrunchie. So it's Christmas themed scrunchie because basically I'm using a Christmas fabric. So yeah, and now we're going to align the seams together, and we're going to pin everything down, and then we're going to stitch the open. So you see the seam on this side, so seam should align to the other seam, okay? So once that's aligned properly, you just go ahead and pin it down to secure it, and then you're just gonna sew to close the gap, the opening there. And make sure for this tutorial, just make sure you use a matching thread. I have black right now and I didn't want to bother myself switching to red. Basically, you'd use a red thread to make sure everything is aligned properly, just so it looks good and professional. So make sure you use a matching thread when you're doing yours, okay? But for mine, I'm gonna be using black because, yeah. And guys, once you sew this closed, your scrunchie is basically done. So I'm still just trying to pin everything so that I get a neat finish. So I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm just going to sew that closed with a straight stitch, okay? Again, always back stitch, always back stitch, okay? So basically back stitching and then I'm sewing down, and yeah, and that's it guys. I hope you enjoyed this scrunchie tutorial. Let me know what other projects you love to see from this channel. And yeah, I try to keep it very beginner friendly. But yeah guys, this is the finished look and this is so pretty. It's very, very pretty. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on my next video. Mwah.